Hi, this is Jerry McLaughlin with a personal message to most of them, unfortunately, are my friends on the Never Trump list. The Never Trumpers. They vowed a blood oath practically never to vote for Donald Trump. Well, they got their way. They didn't vote for Trump, and the election passed, and now they'll be fielding a group of more conservative candidates, supposedly, for 2020. But let me just talk to you. You're my friends. I know you. You know, Glen, Beck, Steave, Deace, Mitt Romney, not so much a friend, but Ted Cruz. You know me well, Ted, and I know you very well. This never Trumper thing is a matter of pride at this point, because I could tell you, I know every one of you, and there is nobody who would have taken a more conservative list of cabinet members than who is on Donald Trump's short list right now. I mean, I don't know what you're thinking, but when I look at this list, I couldn't believe it. Here, I'm going to read some of them. Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Think about it. Jeff Sessions, Senator of Alabama. He's been a proponent of strict immigration enforcement for years. I mean, he is the build the wall, stop illegal immigration. All right, nobody can argue with that. It's Jeff Sessions. National Security Advisor, short list, Michael T. Flynn. Chief of Staff, that's more of an administrative position. Now, Chief Strategist, that's a different story. Who's going to really formulate those policies or what it's going to look like? Is it going to be a Reagan administration? Is it going to be a Bush type of administration? Or is it, as I suspect, going to be even more conservative than Ronald Reagan? If you were to pick the most conservative person in all conservative media, out of the major media, who would it be? It would either be Joseph Farah of WorldNet Daily, WND, or Stephen Bannon of Breitbart, formerly with Drudge. And it's not just a short list, he picked them. Donald Trump picked, as his chief strategist, Stephen K. Bannon. I rest my case. I don't even have to read anymore. I mean, if you get rid of your pride and admit you were wrong, as I did, hey, I originally wasn't for Trump. I admitted I was wrong. You can do it too. It's easy. Say, I'm wrong, next. But they won't do that. A lot of these people just won't do that. Next one, Secretary of State. I mean, John Bolton is at the top of the list. Former UN ambassador to the United Nations. I mean, you don't get much more conservative than that. Treasury Secretary, I don't know. I don't know enough about money, but Tim Pawlenty is on there, and from Minnesota and so forth. Now, Defense Secretary, you don't get much more conservative than Duncan Hunter, and he's been in those committees for years. I mean, Duncan Hunter from California, the most conservative rep I know ever in California, and a Marine Reserve officer, served in both Afghanistan and Iraq. Both Duncan Hunters, the dad and the son, just incredible. I mean, these are conservative credentials. Interior Secretary, I'm not joking, Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin, for those of you who are not living under a rock, you know her, but otherwise, former Alaska governor. I shouldn't assume that. There's a lot of millennials that, I mean, technically were 2 years old when Desert Storm was happening, so that's in their history book. So I probably do have to remind people who Sarah Palin is. But she used to do moose hunting for fun. Now she'll get paid for it as the Interior Secretary if she gets picked. She's on the list. You know, you got Commerce Secretary, you got Labor Secretary, Health and Human Service Secretary, Bobby Jindal and Mike Huckabee. You don't get much more conservative than them. I mean, give me a break. And he's a good sport, Donald Trumper. He's willing to take his former opponents, puts them on the list. You got education, well, certain things like the EPA, maybe he'll put somebody on that, or the Department of Education, just long enough to say, hi, I'm the new member, I hereby abolish the position, goodbye, along with abolishing money to taxpayer money to Planned Parenthood, or more accurately, Planned Baronhood. All right, let's look at the list here. What else? Oh yeah, this is like amazing. I mean, I think Ronald Reagan was the best president we had in decades, but there's no way Ronald Reagan would have put people this conservative on for Department of Homeland Security. Joe Arpaio, need I say more? David Clark, the county sheriff of Milwaukee. I mean, this is wild. I mean, they're on the short list. I read enough. So, my friends, you know me well. Jerry, your buddy. I booked you on talk shows. Ted Cruz, I booked your boss on Peter Jennings, ABC World News Tonight to promote the Ten Commandments case before the Supreme Court. We won that one together. I mean, you know me. I've done this for 30 years. I booked you on talk shows, my friends, the Never Trumpers. And as for Glen Beck, I booked plenty of experts on your show in my publicity firm. So as one conservative another, as a conservative that originally wasn't for Donald Trump, I was dumb enough to do a video saying he was just shilling for Hillary. That's what I thought originally. I thought he was going to do a Ross Perot, go halfway through, shill for Hillary, and throw the election and start a third party or something to make sure she won. How wrong was I? I admitted I was wrong. Admit you're wrong too. If you couldn't support Donald Trump in the election itself, at least support the president of the United States elect. Don't go going against a conservative president. It's either pride or you better look at your own conservative credentials, because none of you would have picked a more conservative cabinet than the people I just mentioned. Now, those are on the short list. It's possible he might just do Giuliani and a bunch of people like that. And he probably will give Giuliani something, But it's an amazingly conservative list. Please share this with a friend or 100 friends. You're not going to see this on CNN. You're not going to see this anywhere except maybe Dick Morris. Of course, Dick Morris and Breitbart, I suppose, and WND, maybe Newsmax would say stuff like this. But this is definitive. This is the short list up to the moment here. And we'll see who ends up getting picked, who gets confirmed. Time will tell. Please share this. Click share under the video. Send it to a friend who will send it to a friend who will send it to a friend who eventually might get it to the assignment editors over at MSNBC and CNN and realize how they should be reporting.